The Apple event passed, and even though I saw great new additions to Apple's lineup, my curiosity still couldn't quite peak, except when the iPhone 13 mini popped up, and also when the iPad mini was unveiled, but I'll get to that one in a bit. Hi guys, I'm Vic here for PhoneArena, and as some of you may know, I'm not really an avid Apple user. My current personal phone is the OnePlus Nord, but I do love small devices, and the 12 mini from last year was just breathtaking. Especially this red color, looks really nice. One place where the 12 mini actually didn't do that well, as you might already know, is in the battery life compartment. So I was particularly keen on hearing about that in the Apple event. So let's see what happened there. We have received a slight increase in battery capacity, or at least in battery life. Apple claims that we should get about an hour and a half more in our day on the new Mini. We haven't received specific specs about how big exactly is going to be the battery, but that's traditional for Apple. We also haven't received what sort of RAM the new devices will have, so forth, so on. As you know, the 12 mini from last year sports 90-degree edges and a very tiny body, kind of resembling the iPhone 5's design features with having rough edges. In fact, that it's smaller than the SE 2020 edition. I actually like holding it in my hand, and I wouldn't change a thing about its size. So with that in mind, I'm not entirely too surprised that the iPhone 13 mini kept the same 5.4-inch size. But here's the cool thing. The notch, even if it's still there, is about 20% smaller, which is good to see. Of course, I'm not too impressed elsewhere though, at least in terms of design. The camera positions are now diagonal to each other instead of actually being top to bottom, and Apple, to their credit, did try introducing more recycled materials in their phones, but visually, the new iPhone 13 and 13 mini are mostly the same as the previous generation. Cases probably won't be compatible since there is a slight difference in sizing, most likely, but still. And I'm also partly salty that the Pro and Pro Max received a ProMotion display capping at 120Hz and, variably switching between 10 and 120Hz, while the base models only got standard 60Hz panels. Or, in other words, a mid-range Android phone could do better in terms of refresh rate. The display quality, though, is a different story. The new lineup kept its OLED screens, thank the Lord, and they also bumped up their peak brightness at around 800 nits, which is pretty cool seeing as how the 12 mini capped out at around 625 nits. The displays can now also have a peak brightness of 1200 nits when viewing HDR content, and they should be Dolby Vision enabled too. Those 60Hz sure sting though. Still, I also kind of didn't hear a word of, Type-C, so yeah, we'll be staying with the Lightning port for now. USB 2.0 speeds, I really don't like you, but they're here to stay. But on the plus side, we still have a wide range of colors, or at least a few new hues. And I know mentioning colors sounds dull, but at the same time, it's something you can express yourself by. I mean, here's an area that received a nice bump though. The camera on the new Mini is pretty nice. The main sensor is now larger with 1.7 micron sized pixels. This of course is extremely nice if you're planning on taking more night shots, but we also have a slightly wider aperture at an f-stop of 1.6, which should result in more bokeh in images and of course more light in dark scenes. Apple did also try selling me their cinematic modes, but I'm not too impressed by its look. Basically it takes like a portrait type photography type of edit and does it in real time while you're doing a video. It can dynamically switch between focusing. It basically does focus racking. If you're familiar with it, basically that's switching from one focused object to another focused object. Many people actually work this, like they physically have to dial in the focus, like it's a dedicated job. But here, the iPhone is supposed to do it for you automatically, or if you want to, you can just press and tap on the object you want to focus and defocus from, and it's pretty cool. But I wasn't too impressed because you can see like a halo, like the portrait mode, when it's not exactly on spot, you can actually see some artifacting, and furthermore, the quality wasn't too nice. But I will hand it down to the cinematographer who actually did the work there with the cutscene. It actually looked pretty nice. Here's what impressed me though. The base models now have sensor shift stabilization, which, as you should remember, was an exclusive to the Pro Max from last year. And that's pretty cool if you want more stable videos. But in general, even if I'm not too happy with what we got, I can still feel at least a tiny bit good about the fact that the iPhone 13 and 13 mini, actually I think all devices now coming from Apple, have a base storage of around 128 gigabytes. So now, even though the price didn't move from $699, of course, there is also another bonus here. If you are in the US, or a country which basically has a nice Apple trade-in program, you can decide to trade in your iPhone 8 and upwards for up to around $790, which, pretty nice. Especially if you have a brand new saved iPhone 12 mini, just put it there and you know, the next upgrade would be quite cheap for you. But if you're not there, well, you're out of luck. In that case, I would actually advise to just wait a bit more till the 12 mini, 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max actually get a discount. So all in all, I think the event was not that exciting for me, but as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I was also quite impressed with the new iPad mini. It finally does resemble the iPad Air, iPad Pro. Basically, it received a revamped look. Basically, it was revamped. So you now have a larger display, you know, less bezels. You now have Type-C finally, not those 2.0 speeds from Lightning, and you do have the Apple Pencil 2nd generation support, which also kind of, you know, magnetically sticks on the side. I actually like that. And I think for $4.99, that's a pretty nice deal. But maybe that's, you know, for another time. For the time being, let me know down in the comments below what excited you during the Apple event, or if you ended up being totally disappointed. I'm Vic from PhoneArena, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys some other time.